Welcome to Virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona and away go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Rick Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Spark Truck Series here at the Spark Racing League. And we are at Talladega Super Speedway. Guaranteed to be a good one as these Titans are out on track in qualifying. As always, I'm your host, James E. Spring Action 1080p, 60 frames a second. Wanna, as always, thank you to the fans, friends, and family coming out, supporting the drivers, supporting the league, as well as supporting the broadcast. Let's see who we can find out on track. Looks like Nathan Gentry, the number 4 machine, out for his qualifying run. 15 drivers have put down time so far, with Robert Brope sitting on pole, the number 5. Got down to a 56.13, narrowly edging out Jacob Bradley's number 50 machine. You've got Ashton Cosner, Robert Liedl, Johnny Rapp, Clay Sampson, Nathan Gentry, all out on the racing surface. Let us know for the fans out there where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have this broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor or device, and if they don't, they just about always go back and watch this thing over again. Nathan Gentry is going to climb up to 13th. That will end his qualifying run. Looks like Robert Liedl has not put down a lap here, but Chris Smith, the number 28, looks off a 56.12, edging out Robert Brobes by 1/100th of a second. Good enough for pole in the 28. Looking to see, there's a few drivers who have not put down times. I don't think they're going to, as we are 4 minutes and 20 seconds into qualifying. Brian Brobes, Chase Berry, Nick Serra, Peter Stewart, Dustin Bally, Dave Grajewski, all not putting down lap times here in qualifying. Robert Liedl, the number 80 machine, climbs up to the 8th place spot in that Ford F-150. That's going to be with a 56.22. Nathan Gentry's bumped himself up to 17th. Ashton Cosner in that 21st position. Now, on the Wednesday night series, every driver will make the show here tonight. And that is going to wrap it up here for qualifying. 28 drivers here at Talladega Superspeedway. And it is going to be another fantastic race here at the Spark Truck Series. Drivers getting gridded up, ready for this main event. And let's run through the starting order here tonight. On pole, Chris Smith, the number 28 machine. Hunter Gio starting 2nd. Robert Brope starting 3rd. Jacob Bradley starting 4th. Devin Jack starting 5th. Evan Pienta starts 6th. Steve Vest starting 7th. Robert Liedl starting 8th. Ellis Thomas starting 9th. Clay Sampson starting 10th. Sam Cosner starts 11th. Mr. Johnny Rapp starting 12th. Cycled on back, Patrick Hardgrove starting 13th. Sam Stoner starting 14th. We've got Clifton Simmons starting 15th. Chad Mueller starting 16th. Nathan Gentry starting 17th. Robert White starts 18th. Paul Thomas starting 19th. Thomas Bergeron starting 20th. Ashton Cosner starting 21st. Dustin Bally 22nd. And Peter Stewart will start 24th. Cycling it back one final time. Paul Thomas starting 19th. Thomas Bergeron starting 20th. I've read these numbers already. It's Brian Brope starting 25th. Jared Seraph racing for his brother Nick Seraph starting 26th, the number 67. And Dave Grajewski will round out our 27 truck grid here today. Does not look like Rye Jones is going to make the grid here in the 091 machine, although it does show him in the session. Noah Sampson pumped to see Clay Sampson, number 87 machine, qualifying within the top 10. Now we've got 56 laps on the board. And the big question here tonight is, what lap will we see the big one? When will there be a big incident? As Talladega usually lends itself to some spectacular crashes. As we get a nice wide shot of all 28 drivers rolling out behind that iRacing safety car. Looks like Nathan Gentry also going to start from pit road, the number 4 machine. Maybe trying to keep himself out of danger here. And there's going to be a couple different strategies at play off the start here at Talladega. You're going to have a handful of drivers trying to hammer down and get up front. That way if there's an incident, it leaves it all behind them. I predict you're going to see a second or third pack lagging back a little bit to avoid any misfortune if there's a big crash in front of them. So it's going to be a bunch of different strategies at play here tonight. And I'm expecting to see some good bump drafting out of our truck drivers. We got Null Sport Dynamics cheering on the number 55 machine of Evan Pienta. Pienta always running that very slick number 55 Chevrolet on the Wednesday night series. Waiting for that iRacing safety car to come down pit road. And we will be started for today's feature event. Now, drivers do have 0 fast repairs tonight, so if they're involved in a big incident, that is going to be it for them. There goes the safety car down pit road. And we are green flag racing here at the Spark Truck Series at Talladega Super Speedway. There's the number 50 machine of Jacob Bradley giving a push to Hunter Gio in the 33 machine in the inside line. It's Chris Smith in the number 28. He's getting pushed by Robert Probst, potting the number 5. We are 2 wide, and it looks to be just about 4 rows deep here. The outside line's got a little bit of momentum with Gio and Bradley leading the charge here. They're going to try and get clear of Smith and that number 28. And we're going to keep an eye on the trap speeds here tonight. I would not be surprised to see these trucks getting over 200 miles an hour. And there is not a lot of room for mistake when you're going 200 plus, 2 wide or 3 wide, which I think we're going to see later on here tonight. Bradley will get credit for the first lap led here in that number 50. Top speeds in the mid 190 miles an hour as it looks like the top side getting a little bit squirrely. Bradley's getting his support from Pienta in the number 55 machine after Hunter Gio dropped down the inside line ahead of Chris Smith. So it's too early to call right now, but for the moment, it looks like the outside line has a little bit of legs. As both drivers second in line here. Pienta on the high side, Smith down low, glued to the back bumper of the drivers in front of him. That's Hunter Gio and Jacob Bradley leading the charge up front. And this is what we were talking about. For the most part, the field pretty bunched up here. You've got about 4 or 5 drivers kind of closer to the tail end here, hanging out and enjoying a little bit of clean air. Now, we got to report Nathan Gentry and Ry Jones did get out on track, so we did bump that number up to 28 drivers starting here tonight. Under Gio, Chris Smith side by side up front. Gio was able to pull out ahead of Jacob Bradley in that number 50 machine. Wanting to control the middle line. He's going to drop back down low here. Bradley takes up the first position on the high side once more. And this is a very bunched up field here. As I see some 3-wide action going on. Is that Devin Jack? No. Who is that on the high side? Showing the 65, I believe, of Sam Stoner. Was a little bit out of formation there. Maybe just looking for some clean air on the nose of his truck. If drivers run nose to tail for too long, they can overheat these race engines. So it's not uncommon to see drivers tiptoe out of line a little bit, get half the truck front into clean air, and getting some cooler air into that radiator. Bradley and Liedl going to go side by side up front. Liedl had a great qualifying, was briefly in that pole position, and he has already gained 6 spots here in the run, and it looks like he's going to take over the race lead briefly from Jacob Bradley. So Liedl, if he can hold on to it here, that'll be the race lead in a 7-spot gain. He's losing a little bit of time here. And we are 3 wide at Talladega. Robert Liedl's in the middle. Looks like that was Clay Sampson up on the high side. He's going to back out of it here to keep himself out of danger. So now Robert Liedl has Johnny Rack, number 52 machine. Lending a little bit of support on the high side. Looks like Chris Smith's going to go back high as well. But Robert Liedl's not having any of it. He takes a peek to the high side. Not going to get any draft support as the line closes the middle groove. Liedl's going to find himself falling backwards a little bit here. And that's all it takes to get shuffled from first to about 11th, 12th as Liedl finds an opening to get back in the draft. And he's still going to find himself in a 3-wide situation up top against the wall. Looks like Dustin Bally, the number 24 machine's out on track here tonight. Always good to see Bally running, a great guy. You'll remember earlier this season, Dustin Bally joined us in the announcer's booth and did a fantastic job rocking the mic up here with the rest of the Team Goon Squad production crew. I see somebody taking a peek. I wonder, I think that might have been Sam Stoner, the 65. He's third in line on the high side, but things are getting a little bit sketchy here. Looks like Chris Smith did not get a good bump from Johnny Rapp, and the middle groove kind of falls apart. Now it's going to be Rapp's turn to fall back. Losing 2 fistfuls worth of position. He has fallen all the way back to 12th. That's the second driver we've seen go from the very lead pack right back to the middle of the field. A bit of a meat grinder as Rapp finds himself side by side with Ashton Kosner and Thomas Bergeron on the mix. There's Dustin Bally, we were just talking about, number 24 Toyota. He's up 8 spots here. Hard charger on track, though, is going to be Mr. Robert Ryan White, the number 17, who has gained himself 11 positions, moving up into 7th. Hinting at more 3-wide action up at the front as Robert Probst up against the wall. You see Hunter Gio in the 33 machine going back by. Looks like Probst is going to have the number 19 of Chad Mueller tucked in. And I think that's lap traffic ahead with Rye Jones in the 091 machine. So the field's going to kind of squeeze together here to avoid any incident with lap drivers. As I think we just saw 4 wide here at Talladega. The field didn't shuffle together as much as I thought they were going to on that one. So well done to the drivers, able to hold it nice and clean there. Now it shows Ashton Kosner with a 211-mile-an-hour trap speed. I'm not sure how accurate that's going to be, as that is almost 15 miles an hour faster than anybody else showed on live timing. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if that was an anomaly with scoring, or if Kosner has found a little bit of the secret sauce to keep that machine moving forward, that number 34. Gio and Smith side by side for the race lead. You've got Bradley and Stoner in tow. Evan Pienta. No, it's going to be Robert Probst sneaking up into the top 5 here as they cross the start-finish line. Now, we were not told what the fuel run is going to be for these drivers. So it's going to be a bit of a mystery before we see drivers come down pit road. I would imagine the fuel window is going to open up on lap 28. The drivers can make it a 1 green flag stop event here. Patrick Hargrove had the fastest lap last time by. The number 74 got down to a 51.18, so he's in a good spot here using the draft of everybody ahead of him. Robert Probst 3 wide on the high side. There's Stoner in the middle. I think that may be the number 49 of Devin Jack on the inside. Yes, it was. And it looks like we might be hinting at some more 3-wide action here as we're starting to get some big lines formed up here at Talladega. Robert Probst's going to fall back to 13th. As things are getting a little bit more scattered up front, Hunter Gio running second, giving a push to Chris Smith. There's Jacob Bradley, the number 50 machine, third in line. Evan Pienta sits in fourth. Devin Jack rounds out the top 5. Everybody in the top 5 currently single file here. So far, everybody's been running very clean, doing a fantastic job to avoid any incidents thus far. I'm not sure where Brian Probst came from. And that target back number 11 Toyota. But Probst battling for 4th right now shows up 21 positions from where he qualified. Probst on the high side. He's got Robert Probst giving him a push there. You see Robert, the number 5. Brian, the number 11. And that is a big factor here at Super Speedways, is finding some either official teammates or in-the-moment teammates. As it is all going to be about who you can draft with. Brian Probst showing up front, still getting that push from Robert Probst, the number 5 machine. Robert hops out of the line a little bit, gets some clean air on the front of the number 5. That's going to be Brian's 23rd spot gained here. And not even to the halfway mark. So Brian Probst showing he's got the pace here at Talladega Super Speedway. But look at that. I think I just saw... That's the number 24 it's showing. No, excuse me, the 74, Patrick Hargrove on the high side. Looked like he had a good run formed up there with Dustin Baldy lending a support, but the high side falling off a little bit. Generally, the more drivers you can have hooked up nose to tail, the faster you can get some speed built up. Working that draft at the super speedways. Chris Smith taking back over the race lead. The number 28 on the inside line with Hunter Gio lending his draft support, as well as Jacob Bradley. Brian Probst, Robert Probst staying committed to the middle groove, as it looks like that was Jacob Bradley squeezing in ahead of Evan Pienta. Oh, and somebody's up against the wall. It was Rye Jones who's a lap down here. Patrick Hargrove's going to get stuck behind him. I think Hargrove's going to drop down the middle groove as soon as he can. Thankfully, there wasn't any big moments that came from that one. And look who's out front. It's Robert Probst and Brian Probst, both leading their respective lines here. Brian Probst showing up about 22 spots. So I think the two family members, Probst and Probst, are going to stay in their respective lines and try and kind of manage the pace. That will force drivers, if the Probst family keeps working together here, may force the issue of somebody going to the outside line, a 3-wide situation, to try and make their way around the number 11 and number 5, who seem to be linked up side by side, controlling the pace here at Talladega. I'm hoping we get to see some green flag pit stops here tonight, because that is going to be quite the busy pit road. Dustin Bolly, I keep seeing him in the number 24 machine, taking a peek to that third line, looking for some draft support. Bolly not afraid to lead the charge up there and see if he can work his way past the Brobes family. They're going to be working that side draft against the middle groove here. As Robert Brobes, Brian Brobes continue to lead here at Talladega, the Spark Truck Series, as they dominate the inside and middle groove. Dustin Bolly, the number 24, trying to get something formed up on the high side. No luck yet, as Bolly's going to tuck back in the draft behind that number 19 machine of Chad Mueller. As Brian Brobes crossed the start-finish line, he was up front, showing ahead of 24 positions. As a reminder to the fans here tonight, we only had 28 enter the race. A couple of them are going to be 1 or 2 laps down after starting from pit road. Now, I would not discount those drivers, as it looks like Brian Brobes going to pull out of it here, hops down to the apron, and maybe saying, you know what, this is going to get a little bit too dicey for me. You guys can go ahead and crash your trucks. I'm going to keep mine safe. Brian Brobes, after leading, has dropped all the way down to 19th. But the good news is for Brian, he's shown he can start at the back and work his way up towards the front. Still tons of laps left here. 40 laps left to go at this feature event. So I think there's a very good shot that we see Brian Brobes back in it towards the end of this thing. Robert Brobes seems content to run on that inside line, the number 5. He's getting a push from Chris Smith, the number 28. We have seen some phenomenal displays of bump drafting here. I think in 17 laps, we've only seen one really squirrely moment. Our charger out on track right now after Brian Brobes fell back is going to be Robert Ryan White, the number 17 Ford F-150. Brobes and Bradley side by side. Bradley running that middle groove. Looks like Brobes got a push from Smith that wasn't just quite square. Caused that number 5 machine to dance around a little bit. Robert able to hold on to it. Now, after we've ran 18 laps clean, I will say I will be positively shocked if there's no cautions here at Talladega. There's Jacob Bradley, Evan Pienta hopping down the inside line ahead of Robert Brobes. Robert Ryan White running that middle groove there, as we've got problems here at Talladega. And the big one is out as drivers careen everywhere. It looks like it's going to be Rye Jones, Ashton Cosner, Ellis Thomas, Nick Seraph, Johnny Rapp, Peter Stewart, Thomas Bergeron, and Jared Seraph, I should say, all tied up in that one. Let's get the replay queued up. I think it started with Johnny Rapp maybe showing going down pit road. No, is ahead of Rapp, and then the hits come in. So let's try and back this up and see if we can analyze this together here, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to be way ahead of Nick Seraph. We're focusing on Clay Thompson, or Sampson, excuse me, the number 12 machine. Trying to see where this goes wrong. Oh, there it is. The number 91 gives a push. That's Peter Stewart into the back of Brian Brobst, and this is where things are going to get spectacular. The 34 machine of Ashton Cosner is going to go for a wild ride, and then everybody else is going to get collected in that, trying to take evasive maneuvers. Now, I saw one driver with a spectacularly hard hit to the wall. I'm not sure if that was Jared Seraph or maybe Thomas Bergeron. I saw somebody absolutely plow the safety barrier. Oh, I think I'm right. I think it's Thomas Bergeron, the 56. Watch this one. He is going, and absolutely gone into that inside wall, plowing the nose of the number 86 machine with a massive hit to several drivers. Our first caution of the night here at Talladega Superspeedway, 20 laps in. After the pit cycle, Jacob Bradley showing up front, Evan Pienta second, Robert Brobst third, Devin Jack fourth, and Sam Stoner will round out the top five. Drivers in pit road for an extended stay will be Ellis Thomas, Clay Sampson, Thomas Bergeron, Ashton Cosner, Peter Stewart, Brian Brobst, and Jared Seraph. So it looks like we're starting to see some drivers get back out on track. We got the report that Clay Sampson, Peter Stewart, Ashton Cosner, Nathan Gentry will get back out on track. Johnny Rapp's going back down pit road for more repairs. Brian Brobst is going to get out on track, the number 11. And again, a reminder to the fans, there's no fast repair here at the Spark Truck Series. If you find yourself involved with a major incident, you've got to have your pit crews fix that the old-fashioned way with duct tape and hammers to get you back out onto the racetrack. We've got them gridded back up, double file here. That's going to be Bradley and Pienta on the front row. Jack and Robert Brobst, your second row. Stoner and Smith will make up the third row. Guy Racing safety car heads down pit road. Let's go back out on track. And And we are green flag racing once more. Our first restart of the evening. Jacob Bradley out front is going to immediately try and link up with Evan Pienza and Devin Jack on the high side. There's also Chris Smith, the number 28. Robert Brobst, the inside line. He's got Sam Stoner, the number 65, giving him a shove towards the front. Brobst picking up a whole lot of pace here as the middle groove gets a little bit squirrely there, able to hold on to it. And I think, trying to see who that is. That's Dave Grajewski. Yes, it is. Third in line on the inside. The number 6, Napa Auto Parts, sponsors Chevrolet. He's up 19 positions, having a good run off that restart. Now, looking at the pit lane times, there was very few drivers who took 4 tires in that stop. Most drivers opting for fuel, maybe 2 tires. Bradley and Jack still up front, nose to tail. Robert Brobst relegated to 3rd position on the inside line. Jack running up on the top with Smith. And I believe that maybe, yes, it's Hunter Gio, the 33 machine, also up on the high side. Five laps left to go before we hit the halfway mark. Making 4 laps left to go. Back towards the middle of the pack. Clay Sands, the number 87, running 15. Puts out the fastest lap with a 51.1, a trap speed of 199 miles an hour. Bradley and Jack side by side for the race lead. As I see a little bit of bobbing and weaving back there. I think that's Chris Smith. Oh, that's going to be somebody else. I think that's Patrick Hargrove up on the high side with Dustin Bally tucking in behind him. Clifton Simmons on the inside line, number 88, tucked in behind Grajewski. As we hint at more 3 wide, Dustin Bally is going to press the issue on the high side, the number 24. He's showing up about 12 positions from where he started. He's trying to get around Patrick Hargrove, the number 74, but the run stalls without any draft support behind him. I'm curious to see how long these drivers can go on fuel. After that pit stop under caution. Jack up front on the high side. Jacob Bradley still working down the middle groove. And interesting to see Bally staying committed to the high side all by himself there. He's doing a good job staying with the pack despite a lack of draft support, but he's not doing himself any favors or upward momentum there. Maybe he'll get some support here from Robert Ryan White, probably the number 17 Ford. It looks like Bally is going to tuck back kind of in that middle groove here. Panning back up, there's Dave Grajewski, Sam Stoner, side by side, the battle for 7th up front. Jack and Bradley still going to continue their side-by-side foray. You've got Chris Smith second in line on the high side, Evan Pienza second in line on the low side. And let's see if we can get an onboard. Evan Pienza, that's going to show just how tight things are. And there's a big bump draft from Pienza into the back bumper of Jacob Bradley's number 50. Another shove, keeping that momentum up on the outside, the inside line. But if we change camera angles, there is Devin Jack right in the fray, side by side with Evan Pienza. And again, we're hinting at some 3-wide action. Who's that up on the high side? Well, now it's going to be Chris Smith leading up front, or on the high side, I should say. Throwing a pretty nasty block. We're trying to see who's tucked in right behind him. So we are 3 wide, about 4 or 5 rows deep here at Talladega. Man, oh man, look at the formation here. Our Spark truck drivers came to put on a show for the fans in Alabama. Chris Smith up on the high side, Devin Jack in the middle, Jacob Bradley down low. Rye Jones showed coming down pit road for a green flag stop in the 91 machine. Oh, we are in the vortex of danger here, ladies and gentlemen. Very impressed with the caliber of drivers. Everybody doing a good job here. Not a lot of room for error. If one driver starts to lose control, it's going to collect just about everybody. There's number 74, Patrick Hardgrove in the middle. Devin Jack still on the high side. Dave Grajewski down low and to the left of Hardgrove. Let's see if I want to grab an onboard with Clay Sampson, the number 87, to show just how spicy and dicey it is out there for these drivers. Everybody trying to find a dance partner to draft with, leaving no room for error. Bradley still out front on the inside line. Hunter Gio leading the middle groove. And now Devin Jack is going to take over leading responsibilities up on the high side. .25 laps left to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. We've been 3 wide for the last several laps here. 24 laps to go. Jacob Bradley has been one of the dominant drivers of our 50 machine, but there's anybody's guess who here in the top 10, even the top 15, could possibly pick up a win here. Now it's going to be Robert Brost up in the high side, the middle groove, I should say, the number 5. Who is that linked up behind him there, I wonder? That's the number 33 of Hunter Gio. Gio, another one of those drivers that has a very good chance here if he can just keep the nose of the 33 machine nice and clean. Robert Probst back out front, the number 5. Gio still giving a hard shove. Chris Smith also in line here. Looks like Robert Ryan White was trying to take a peek to the outside line. Didn't have anybody tucking behind him, so he's going to hop back down to that middle groove. Now, I think once we get about 10 laps left to go, it's going to be all bets off, elbows out for everybody. As for the moment, the field seems to be content, too wide and as far back as the eye can see. We still have 25 drivers out on track here of our 28 entries. Robert Probst doing a good job staying up in the mix here, that number 5. But Jacob Bradley has been very clean. It seems Bradley seems to be very content running that inside line, the bottom groove up front. Arguably one of the safest places he could put that machine out on track right now. Oh, that's all somebody getting a little bit squirrely there as we're going to be 20 laps left to go here at Talladega. Again, I'm thinking drivers are going to remain fairly calm, fairly respectful until there's 10 laps or less to go. I know once we're about 2 or 3 laps left to go, all bets are off, and I'm going to predict we're going to wad up some perfectly good race trucks here at the Super Speedway. Oh, again, we've got drivers starting to weave around here a little bit. Hunter Gio. As Patrick, I believe that's going to be Patrick Hargrove tucked in behind him. Dustin Bali once again working the high side as well, the number 24. Bali trying everything he can to get that thing lined up and get some momentum going. And Bradley still remains on the inside line. I can't reiterate enough. I think Bradley might be in one of the safest. Granted, there's not a whole lot of safe spots out on this track right now, but I think Bradley is in one of the safer positions that he can be in here. He has the majority of the racers behind him. But you've got guys such as Patrick Hargrove up on the high side doing everything they can to get things lined up. Robert Brobst has the credit for the lap led there in the number 5 machine with the support of Hunter Gio. Keep an eye out on Dustin Bali. He's very slowly working his way up to the front here, really relying on the side draft of those ahead of him. And we go 3 line up front once more. Hunter Gio has a big blink there. Second in line in the middle groove, tucked in behind Robert Brobst. So Bali has been able to square himself into the 17th spot, 4th in line in the middle groove. Bali now up 15 positions from where he started. Current hard charge out on track, though. A bit of a surprise. Dave Grajewski, the number 6 Chevrolet, he is now showing up 23 positions as he sits in the 4th place spot. Bali still staying dedicated to the outside line. I'm not sure if it's the fastest way, but you've got to admire the commitment to the cause there for Bali in the bright yellow number 24. As it looks to be really the entire pack that's out on track still running together here. If we pan back to Peter Stewart, he's the last driver in the lead lap, but he's only 2 seconds off the race leaders here, and if there's one big incident, I think anybody here in the top 20 can still have a chance here. Bradley still up front. 14 laps left to go. Oh, and here we go. Another big one is out. I see Patrick Hargrove, and the field's going to come barreling in here. Very few drivers going to get away from that one unscathed. And we talked about Bradley being in that best position, and that is going to be true here. As let's take a look. Our second caution of the night, and it's going to be a big one. So there we go. It's 4 wide. Number 88 of Clifton Simmons down low. You've got Dustin Bali. There's Patrick Hargrove. Looks like maybe Robert Ryan White. I think that is up on the high side. Might have bounced off the wall there slightly. Patrick Hargrove's going to get collected as we go careening around, and watch the rest of the field come barreling in here. Devin Jack skates the inside line. He gets through clean. Looked like that was Robert Liedl. A little bit of an impact there on the number 80 machine. Oh, I never thought I'd be happy to see somebody spin up into the track, but that's allowing a few drivers to get by there. Not the number 42, though, who absolutely drills the side of Patrick Hargrove. For 38 machine of Sam Cosner comes to a screeching halt. And that will be our second caution of the night. Jacob Bradley's going to lead the field down pit road. I don't think we're going to see many drivers taking 4 tires on this one. Bradley with a splash and go in and out of his pit stall, 6.8 seconds. So it's going to be, I think, 11 laps left to go. No, 10 laps left to go once we're green flag racing once more. This is our second caution of the night. Looks like Robert Liedl, Brian Brobst extended stays on pit road. Sam Stoner's back down pit road another time here during caution. So here we go. The safety car should be coming down pit road next time by. It's going to put 10 laps left to go on the restart. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened, but never mind. I thought I saw another incident under caution. Patrick Hardgrove's going to roll out of pit road in the number 74 machine. He's going to be just ahead of the lead pack here. Robert Liedl, unfortunately, taking an extended stay, the number 80 machine. Green flag is out, and we are underway here at Talladega Super Speedway. Bradley with a good launch. Robert Brobst trying to tuck in behind the inside line, but looks like Bradley's going to pick up Pienza there. Pienza giving a big shove to the back of Bradley's number 50 machine, saying, hey, let's get this party going on the middle groove. Well, this is going to be exciting as we get ready to click it over. 9 laps left to go. Jacob Bradley still leading the charge up at the inside line. I see a very hungry Devin Jack, the number 49 machine, ripping the middle groove. Jack has Chase Berry, number 46 Toyota, right in tow in the middle line. Perry showing up 18 positions here, waiting for late in the race to make that charge up towards the front. But again, I think anybody inside the top 20 has a great shot of it here if they can just keep the nose clean for a little while longer. Here we go once more, 3 wide at Talladega. As Devin Jack is going to get credit for a lap led here, the 49 Ford F-150. Chase Berry shown in second, Jacob Bradley in the mix, Evan Pienta, Ellis Thomas, the top 5, skipping all across the timing tower as everybody's trying to get a few more spots here late into the run. Ellis Thomas, the number 8 machine. Haven't talked about him much here tonight, but he's back in the fray up on the high side. 8 laps left to go here. Thomas, a big run on the outside line, accompanied by Mr. Chris Smith, the number 28. Devin Jack leading the middle line. Jacob Bradley still dominant on the inside low line. Are we going to see maybe 4 wide here, ladies and gentlemen? You see that second pack kind of hanging back, wanting to keep their noses out of trouble, as you've got Bradley, Jack, and who is that? Ellis Thomas up on the high side. Oh, I hope that these drivers can hold this formation till the end. I would love nothing more than a 3 wide, 4 row deep finish line photo here at the Spark Truck Series. Jacob Bradley looks like he's going to get credit for another lap led here. 6 laps left to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. Ellis Thomas on that high side loses a little bit of steam out of turn 4. That allows Bradley to continue hugging the bottom, but there's going to be another caution interrupting the party here. Where was it? I think maybe that was Nathan Gentry involved in some sort of incident. Enhance. So Nathan Gentry potting the baby blue and white number 4 machine. Gets a little bit of a tag there from Chad Mueller, the number 19 machine. Peter Stewart, the 91, also not going to get away unscathed. Oh, Stewart's going to take another big hit from Steve Vest in the 06. Let's see, does Dustin Bali manage to skate through? No, Bali is going to be involved in a very awkward head-on collision. It'll be tough to explain that one to the insurance adjuster as Nathan Gentry careens down the track. So it looks like it's going to be Gentry, Bali, Peter Stewart, and Steve Vest all collected in that one. Now I wonder, is this going to put us into green-white checker conditions here? So I think this is going to put us into green-white checker conditions. Basically, one of our overtime attempts will be used here. And I'm checking. This is the only green-white checker attempt if we do go into green-white checker conditions. I see Stewart, Bali, Stoner, White, Vest all on pit road, as well as Patrick Hardgrove. I think Brian Brobst, number 11, is back out on track. And I think Brobst might get the wave around here. Yes, there goes Brian Brobst. He's going to get the lucky dog. Just like that, Brobst's day may be saved. So keep an eye on that number 11 of Brian Brobst. He had excellent pace early on before getting caught up in an incident. We've got Jared Sherrill, I think is the right way to say that, saying there was quite a few times that somebody from that middle groove could have hopped in front of Jacob Bradley, number 50, and I agree. So I think drivers are trying to set themselves up to be in the best position possible here at the end. And we're about to find out. It's going to be a mad dash. So here we go. Our one and only green-white checker attempt here at Talladega Super Speedway, the Spark Truck Series. Now, if we can take the white flag without incident, we will finish this race with a checker with green flag conditions. However, if drivers run out of talent or ability and cause another big collision, bring out the caution before the leader has taken the white flag, this thing will end under yellow here tonight. Here we go with bated breath. It's Bradley and Pienta on the front row. This is for all the guts, all the glory. Green flag is out for the final restart of the night. We are underway. Jacob Bradley, number 50 machine, I think is going to guard that middle line until he gets through turns 1 and 2. And then we're going to see that number 50 machine try and make that thing 3 or 4 car widths wide. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Devin Jack in the inside line. Looks like Bradley and Pienta staying formed up in the middle groove. There's Robert Brobes trying to make that number 5 machine 3 lanes wide. And speaking of, we settle out 3 lanes wide here. Bradley and Pienta working together on the inside line. Devin Jack, Hunter Gio also in the fray here as well. Looks like Robert Brobes pinballing around a little bit. The number 5 machine is he stuck on the middle groove. We unfurl the white flag. If Jacob Bradley can take the white, we will finish this thing under green flag conditions. White flag is out here at Talladega Superspeedway. Side by side for the race lead, it's Bradley versus Jack, US versus Canada. Hunter Gio, Evan Pienta, Robert Brope still in the fray here. Most of the field stacked up double file. Keep an eye out on Pienta and Gio. They're second in line with their respective lows as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. This is where it might get a little bit spicy. It might get a little bit dicey. Driver's going to be jockeying around. I see somebody already getting pushed off. Was that Chris Smith, the number 28? And we're going to wad him up here at the finish line. Jacob Bradley's going to get a clean breakaway. It's going to be Bradley, Pienta, and Clay Sampson at there in the end as everybody finds a way to crash some more items, some more trucks here. Who didn't crash? That's a pretty small list of drivers who did not wad it up there. So again, the unofficial results will be Bradley, Pienta, and Sampson, your top 3. And I think Bradley's truck might have taken a little bit of damage there. It looked like he was crab walking a little bit. Yeah, look at the angle he's carrying in the number 50 machine. And I see Evan Pienta limping the bottom, but poor Bradley, that truck has seen better days. But hey, a win is a win here at the Spark Truck Series. And Jacob Bradley still has enough left in the tank, the number 50 machine, to burn it down here at Talladega Superspeedway. A well-deserved win. I've got to agree with the fans, as always, Null Sports saying, typical super speedway, throwing a draft at the dartboard and picking your winner. I always call it the draft lottery when we go to a super speedway. Sometimes the lottery giveth, sometimes the draft lottery taketh away. But in the case of Jacob Bradley, put himself in the right position. As we're going to get top 3 drivers up here to victory lane. I was told one driver had to momentarily step out. We got Robert Ryan White, the number 17 driver, joining us in the spectator here, telling us how much fun that was. Jared Sherrill cheering on Pienta, saying at least he should have went for the win, but hey, a second place here is a great night. So we will not have Clay Sampson join us in the booth since he does not have a microphone. Well, on behalf of Clay Sampson, he would like his thank his family for the third place finish in that number 87 machine. His family, his friends, and all the spectators that came out and cheered him on. And that's on behalf of Clay Sampson, the number 87 machine, a newcomer here at the Spark Truck Series. That means we will start things off as soon as they make their way up to the booth with Mr. Evan Pienta. So we're joined by Evan Pienta, the number 55 machine. Evan, seemed like you were playing second fiddle all night, but when so many other drivers left with the wadded up race trucks, you've got to be happy with not having to put a new wrap on that 55 machine, and some great points for you here today.
Yeah, coming in here is kind of like wanting to see what I could do. Kind of had flip of a coin luck here at Talladega. It's either I'm up front, kind of helping out, pushing, and then I would probably get wrecked at the end usually, or I get involved in stuff earlier in the race, and it's just kind of about riding in the back, kind of a boring race. So went with the running up front, trying to push as much as possible, just trying to get the laps through to the very end there, trying to make sure I avoided any of the last lap wrecks, because that's usually where I get involved in stuff when I pulled the strategy I did today, and then kind of saw them all wreck behind me, and then knew it was my only real shot was to try and get to the outside of Jacob, and by that time it was just too little too late. So just kind of wanted to make sure I was finishing in a top 3 position so I get to talk to you, but overall, I mean, it was just kind of a race that happened, and nothing much I could really compare. Nothing much I could really
I'll be using that to describe future races from up here in the broadcast booth. But Evan, you talked about track position being king, either kind of in the danger zone or watching the race unfold in front of you. I mean, compared to the middle pack, surely that second place, as you were tucked in behind Bradley, was a little bit safer than some of the other positions out on track, right?
For sure. For a little bit in there, the 5, Robert was up on my outside, and he was side drafting pretty hard, middle of that race, and kind of being, I don't know, a little more aggressive than I would have liked in the middle of the race. So that was kind of a little tense moment. And then here and there was a little bit of a kind of got pushed 3 wide. And so just kind of staying down there and managing the temps on my gauge. That last green, white checkered, I didn't lift at all behind Jacob, and was going to let the thing blow up. Water temp, I think, was peaked at 280. So I was not going to lift there, and just kind of send it, and ended up working to get second place. But overall, like I said, it's a race that ran.
Well, hey, we were all here for it, Evan. It's always a good time talking to you, but an always sharp 55 machine. Before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen here tonight?
You for putting the broadcast on, all the guys at Spark who put the league on, Epic Machinery, Evan Pienta Designs. Shout out to Chris on winning the Evan Pienta Designs Pole Award tonight, and the IUPUI gang down in Indianapolis.
Awesome. Evan, always a pleasure, buddy. I appreciate the change to the gang name, so much obliged, and hopefully we'll have you back up here next week as well.
Sounds good.
Evan Pienta bringing it home in second, but up next, somebody who led most of the laps here at Talladega, and most importantly, the last one, Jacob Bradley. Welcome back to the booth, bud.
Thanks, man. I took, I guess, 2 weeks ago off. Had the off week to get regrouped, and looked pretty good here at Talladega. I was glad to have Evan there pushing me. The win really goes to Evan. I kind of done without him pushing me all race. And I think it was a good race overall. We had quite a lot of fun up there.
And it seemed like to me, Jacob, you were putting yourself in the safest track position that you could find. I mean, up front, it seemed like all the carnage was constantly behind you, and you were able to kind of enjoy the show from a bit safer seat than some of the other drivers.
Yeah, at plate racing, I always try and either be right at the front or leading, because that's the safest spot in my opinion. If a wreck's gonna happen, it's probably gonna happen behind me, or I'm getting turned to that point, and at that point it is what it is. But that's what plate racing's all about, and I'm just glad that worked in my favor this time around, and I'm glad that I had a good group of guys to push me.
Now, Jacob, Were you thinking tonight was going to have more cautions, less, or was this about what you were expecting coming into a super speedway?
This was significantly less than what I was expecting. Usually when you think of super speedways on iRacing, you think of just chaos. But we've been fortunate enough at Spark to have some pretty good super speedway races. I know Daytona last season went really well. We had a long green flag around the middle. This race was pretty similar. It's just a testament to the quality of drivers we have in the field.
Yeah, spot on. 22 drivers finishing on the lead lap of 28 that entered. A great run from the entire field. A fantastic run from that number 50, Jacob Bradley, a Racing School-backed machine. And Jacob, before I let you go, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, I want to thank all the people who've helped me run this league. John, Dade, Randy, Robert, Brian, Nathan. They only put this thing together, and it's done really well so far. I want to thank all the drivers for showing up, put on such a great show. I want to thank all the people who decided to jump into the Payday Racing chat, and Evan for pushing me all night, and of course, all of the fans for watching the broadcast.
Awesome, Jacob. Always a pleasure, bud. Super cool to have you back up here, and hopefully we'll have you out in the final rounds of the season.
Thank you.
That was Jacob Bradley bringing it home in the top spot. He was accompanied by Mr. Evan Pienta in second and Clay Sampson, the newcomer, rounding out the top three. On behalf of the Spark Truck Series at the Spark Racing League, my name has been James Eastwood, Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your Wednesday night with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.